Okay, this is our second lecture to take further step after cardiovascular system. So today's lecture will be called nervous system, but I realize you had already one lecture by a professor, and today's lecture I thought we will make special senses. So again, I'll put together, because it's all something to do with nerve. But this one you will recognize, we have sent you, then you receive this paper, and this is your homework paper. Mainly I collected eye and also visual sense transmission from eye down to the back of your brain, occipital lobe we call it. And also second picture is your nose. The third is your ear. So, however, our textbook has lots of other pictures. You can use that one and get some ideas and all the names. So this one has maybe 30 names, but 30 is not enough. So I want you to look it up more, names and locations and so forth. So I put it there, how we see, number 2, how we hear, number 3, how we smell, number 4, how we taste. And also last, names all of your cranial nerves. So this is one good things to do. It's fun to understand all those things happen. So how, that means you're going to write from outside object. So I see that there's a chair and comes to my eye, and that passes through the cornea and the intraocular fluid and goes to the lens. It reflects and changes the directions, focusing onto my retina, and there's a retina that the special place with bright sensation I could recognize. It shows up, but the light comes through the lens, vitreous humors goes through it, and then it meets retina. That's the end of it? Nope. When the retina recognizes that shape of brightness and all those contours of the picture, upside down shape, and it transmits that electric pulse received by two kind of cells, cone and there's another one, and it comes through and passes through the optic nerve, and they goes through the different directions and different pathways, to the right, to the left. So they go through the chiasm of the optic nerve, and it hits one place. It says Shigabu Chekshil, that's the name of it in Korean, and it passed through the back of your brain, occipital lobe. And occipital lobe understands, interprets the shape of what you see. So you will say, oh, this is my mom. Oh, this is my lover, so to speak. Oh, this is a cat and dogs. So recognize it. So it is not actually one pass through it. So you have two eyes. So two eyes will you will see the stereotype of three-dimensional shape. You understand. So that is what I see. Same thing how you hear, you go through the pathways. So I like to write the pathways, like going through different stations and so forth. I was born in Seoul, so Ahundong is my place when I was in childhood. So I come out and turn right to the Sodaemun and walk up there, and it passes different places. I may take some streetcars and buses to go through my medical school and so forth. So pathways is what you're going to learn. Same as smells and so forth. So that is your homework. You're going to do that. You're going to write all as many as you can, so I know how many you studied. And in both terms, in English and Korean, and you can scan it and mail it through your 하얀그림이, right? Okay, so that is you're going to do. So again, we are starting with classification and nervous system. Nervous system, cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal system, dermatological system, you name it. That is a big classification, but classification doesn't mean at one time. When you classify again more minute, more smaller levels. So you will see, again, classification is the work scientists will do. So making diagnosis is sort of also classification. So you will find out, oh, 선생님, 저 뭐예요, 하루택이네요. 선생님, 이거는 뭐 괜찮습니다. 선생님, that is, how do you know? Well, the measurement and classification. So 혈압이 높네요. 얼마나 높아요? And you will say the number. So again, classification is very important in that area. So when we classify nervous system, first of all, we call it CNS, central nervous system. So this one has brain. So you get cerebellum, and then you get cerebellum, I would say bellum, okay, cerebellum, and you also midbrain, further down, oblongata, and you got spinal cord. So again, classification of different levels. This is all called CNS. And then PNS, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system is the one everything comes out of your brain. So spinal nerve have different names. Spinal cord nerve. And there is autonomic nervous system, autonomic nervous system, and sensory nerve. Sensory nerve means hot and cold and pain and so forth. So this is the peripheral nervous system. Spinal cord nerve, you have numbers, right? Cervical nerve, 8. thoracic nerve 12, cervical nerve 8, thoracic nerve 12, lumbar nerve 5, sacral nerve 5, coccyx nerve 1. So you have this spinal cord numbers you have. Autonomic nerve system, there are two sections, sympathetic, mainly something to do with your feeling, your blood pressure, and so forth. Parasympathetic. Why call it parasympathetic? Because they're next to it. But this one is counteracting sympathetic nerve system. So, in balance. You will see always in medicine, in balance. We want to keep our body steady. We call it homeostasis. So, to keep our body in balance, sympathetic nerves goes this way, parasympathetic nerves goes the other way. So sensory nerve, the pain and so forth. And also fun things also from brain, not only spinal cord nerves, but also there are cranial nerves. Cranial nerves, how many? 12. We are going to name 12 cranial nerves. How do I name it? Well, look at the picture in the book. It gives you all 12 numbers, and starting with number 1, olfactory nerve, and number 12, the hypoglossal nerve. So, when you then name those 12, memorize it, and figure it out what nerve does do, what do they do, each, and you will get lots of information from reading it, textbook. So, in the textbook, it explains you what olfactory nerve does, optic nerve, oculomotor nerve, trochlear nerve, trigeminal nerve, abducens nerve, facial nerve, and auditory nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve, vagus nerve, accessory nerve, hypoglossal nerve. So, these 12 nerves, it's a sort of first things you will memorize in medicine, and you will keep this one in your memory box, memory chips forever. So this is the so-called classification of nervous system. See, classification itself is so complicated. However, you will get ideas. And I learned when I was in medical school, I still remember that. Even though I looked up last night to fresh my memories and so forth. So, the nervous system, especially today, we are going to pay attention most special senses. Special senses means nose, eye, and ear. And proprioception. Proprioception is something to do with your self-sense. You know your leg is moving, and you know your legs is up, you know legs is down. It's a sort of self-recognizing senses we call proprioceptions. So let me then go on, and also, as I told you, 4 persons this time: 강진아, 김경주. 김경주. This is what I gave you assignment. 김민. Is that it? 김진아, 김경주, 김동훈, 김민. 강진아. Next 4 persons, right? In your picture of your faces, there are 3 persons I named it first, and The second, I named it four-person. Right. 강진아, 김경주, 김도훈, 김민. These are the four person I named it. You are going to select one among cataract, retinal detachment, hearing loss, olfactory nerve, and pain control. So you're going to look up textbook on that chapter. Even you can look it up, the book of ophthalmology and ENT textbook. It may give you more than what you need. But at least you have a chapter to read and you're going to write your essay. I would say 1 or 2 pages. 5 pages fine, you're welcome to do it. And the reason why I gave you this assignment is to learn about the disease. And when you then meet the patient with this condition in the several years later, you will memorize, I read it, so you will get a much better idea. So I realize this is not easy to learn about cataract. I heard about it in newspaper, but when you open a textbook, it's more than simple, just one condition. It gives you where you get cataract, how you get cataract, who has more cataract than another person, and what does it do for the vision, and how to operate, what is a cataract surgeries, what medicine you use for the cataract, and so forth. And they said, I have cataract. No, I have it. In other words, so my daughter is an optometrist. She looked up my eye, and Dad, you have a cataract star in it. But I see it okay. Well, it'll come. So again, our patients are getting older. You will see those conditions. So cataract, you will see, and also you may meet other conditions. Retinal detachment, what does that mean? Hearing loss, well, hearing aid, hearing loss is another big thing. When you get older, even beyond 60 and 70, your hearing gets low. 노인청, hearing loss. An olfactory nerve is smell, and pain control. Again, pain and pain control is small, it's not small subject, so much. However, pain is very, very important to learn. How come? Well, you go to the pharmacy, maybe more than 10 or 20% of them are the medicine for pain, analgesics. So when you look at the pain and pain control, you will see the pain fibers, how they go through from your fingertip to the brain. Will say, oh boy, this is a needle, it hurts. And your finger will be jumping up. How do they do that? So you will get some ideas by reading pain and pain control. If you're one of your pharmacist or pharmacology students and you look up pain medicines, pain medicine is not one kind. So many. I think the classification again for the pain medicine, and each medicine does a different job for the different pain. So as a doctor, you will find out what kind of pain your patient has. And then you will select right kind of pain medicine, and therefore you will be a good doctor. Wow! When I go to the doctor, 강진아, for instance, and you found out, yeah, this is a different kind of pain. So for the type of pain, I need to give you this kind of pain control. Good example is dental pain, chitong. What do they do? What do we give? Do we give medicine for sleep, for the chitong? Because I cannot sleep, doctor, give me pain medicine. That's not right. You will give Tylenol, or aspirin, or Motrin. This is good for that. The next patient will come to you, doctor, I have a pain and headache. How come? Oh, I could not sleep every night, and then what? You give Motrin and aspirin, Tylenol? No. You will get some sleeping pill. And you would say, when do you get in trouble? Oh, doctor, I cannot go to sleep early in the morning. First 2 hours, just I cannot fall into sleep. And there are different sleeping pills for that. The next person will say, I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and then I just couldn't go back to sleep. Okay, so depending upon the medicine, depending upon the quality and classification of the pain, you will be able to give good medicine. So, Kim Young-ju will be a good doctor. So, that you will pick. The main purpose of this doing homework is for you to get acquainted with that common diseases and knows a little bit about it, more than your mom and dad. So they study those titles, and so show me you read some. Even tell me what textbook you read, so that I get some ideas and so forth. So you study day and night. There's no time to go to picnic and go to party. And so when you do that now, it will be much easier later. So basic science, that terminology again. Terminology is again give you easy introduction. When you study now, later easy. If you don't study now, later it will be difficult, confused, so much details. So by knowing this terminology, you will build medical building, the frame, columns, and roof, and floors, and so forth. And then later, when you go to different department, and you will get more different details of the information. So again, the framework. If you know the basement, foundation, framework, again, classification, you will get much ideas. So again, that is about homework. Now, next, another 15 minutes, and I will give you some